talk to you about MYSZ Incorporated. They came out with this press release on October 26th at 9 a.m. and basically it talked about, everything that you needed to know was pretty much in the title. You could be bullish on basically just on the title. It says MYSZ awarded contract from Dockers. Dockers, I don't know if you guys are aware, but like it's like a pants company, or it's not a pants company, it's a brand of Levi's. And basically MYSZ, they have an app and it helps with sizing of clothes. And they partnered up with Dockers, and then they won the contract, and they have like a proven return rate reduction of up to 47%. Obviously, you know, returns are costly, so that's a really good thing. And then the CEO went on to talk about how this is all part of their strategy to increase revenue. So the stock went crazy. Let's see, where is this? Yeah, right over here on October 26th. It doubled, it more than doubled. It went from up to $3 all the way from pretty much $1.20 roughly. And okay, so how would you have traded on it? Number one, you just had to have the underlying idea that it was, you know, that it was going to be bullish based on the news. Number two, yes, you could have bought while volume was relatively low compared to the SMA 220 of volume. Buy here, wait, sell here, buy here, wait, sell here, buy here, wait, sell here. It was pretty much like 4 waves up, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 big waves. This is exactly when the news came out. Of course, there's algorithmic trading happening. There's computers buying right when the news comes out because it's positive. Even if they had bought at the high, they got filled at the high of 1.46, they would have been pretty well off during the day. But so what was really interesting about this chart for me was the MACD. And in the last video I made, I talked about how like it was important to find the bulk of the move. And the bulk of the move is generally, like for example, if you're going long, it's going to be when MACD is over 0. If you're going short, it's going to be when MACD is under 0. And you see here, like pretty much the entire day, was it the entire day? Not the entire day, but pretty much the entire morning, MACD was over 0. The last chart I did, MACD was like up, under, up, under, up, under. So I think there was a bit more skill involved. This one was literally just like you buy and hold. So it was pretty easy. It was a pretty easy trade. And then this is really interesting too. So I have a indicator that I've created. It's called band hit count. And basically it resets every time it goes it reverses and hits the bottom bands or the upper bands. So you can see here, like it went from 5 hits on the upper bands and then 1 hit on the lower bands. 3 hits on the upper bands, 1 hit on, or 2 hits on the lower bands. Is that 1 hit? That's 1 hit, my bad. And then it went all the way up to 19 hits. And I've said this before, my rule of thumb is generally around 20. You should be trying to exit, generally. Of course, there's a lot of exceptions to this, but generally this is what happens. And here, perfect example of, you know, around 20. So it went up 19 hits on upper bands, and then reverse. You can't really see the reversal because I replayed this. It's in like rewind mode, so can't really see that right now. But yeah, volume was not particularly high during pre-market. It did get unusually high when the news came out, and then it dissipated a bit, and then it came back. The volume came back. And you know, previous volume levels were, I mean, it was quite high over here, so I can't necessarily say that the morning uptrend panic buying was due to the fact that there was a lot of volume on the news. It was more like the news was great. It was more based on the news. So I have a confluence indicator that I just kind of brushed up on recently. I think in the last video I called it balance of power because balance of power is a part of it. And this is maybe an interesting thing I wanted to talk about. So you won't necessarily find very low points in a hot stock. You will find like relatively low points. So here you can see that the stock price is quite high when volume is high. Balance of power is telling you to buy it. Oh no, sorry, balance of power is telling you to sell, and so is the EMA 10. So EMA 10 is far above the EMA 20. I guess I could show that. Let me see if I can show that. I never thought. Let's see, EMA 10 and 20. Do I have that? This guy has it. And I just need to cross out. I can't tell which ones they are. Wait, this says 10, 20, 50. So they're going to be the ones closest to the actual stock. So let me like, I'll double click, get rid of this just so it's not as messy. Get rid of this so it's not as messy. So now we can see the lines. So the lines, the EMA 10 is going to be closest. EMA 20 is going to be less close. This should be 50. This should be 100. This should be 200 then. Where? Oh, there's a yellow line there. I could barely see it. Okay, so the yellow line is actually EMA 20. So let's just show the yellow and the red, okay? So the yellow and the red. And I actually can barely see this yellow, so we're going to make it blue. Make them thick, I guess, like that. And oops, make that one thick as well. Okay, so now we can see what I'm talking about in this indicator that I've created. So you can see here that EMA 10 is above EMA 20 when the stock is a good time to, when it's a good time to sell the stock, right? Anytime over here, had you got in while it's under. You know, like the crosses are supposed to give you like buy and sell signals, but I like the idea of selling. I'm beginning to like the idea more of selling before it falls rather than waiting for like a fall. That makes, I guess that could be obvious, but you know, it's not always the case, I guess. So anyways, I like this idea of selling before it falls at a high. Okay, so that's why I have this confluence indicator. That's why I made it, you know, I wanted everything to be very precise. So here you can see it's not as high, so maybe you'd want to sell beforehand or on this point. But if you're less risk averse and you're less risk averse and you're more risky, then you'd hold on and you'd sell maybe over here instead. But anywhere over here if you bought in over here. So back to my point. My point was the slow signal algo that I've created, it basically talks about, it doesn't talk about, what you should gather from it is it's a-okay to buy when you don't see green signals to buy. And by that I just mean like when a stock is very hot, you can buy when it's relatively high. It's almost like, you know, when a stock is very hot. I'll show you something. So in an uptrend, generally RSI is going to be over 50. So here you can see that it's uptrending, right? Like it's clearly uptrending. You can see that the stock price barely goes under 50. And when it does, it's like 38, you know? It barely goes under. So these can be good times to buy while the MACD is over 0 and it's uptrending. And then for sure, try to sell when you get the spikes. You know, you can always get back in. So if you'd sold here, you could buy in over here. If you'd sold over here, you could buy in over here. If you'd sold over here, you could buy in over here. If you'd sold over here, you could buy in over here. If you'd sold out over here, you could buy in over here, and then you could have sold as well over here, but then at that point, you had this red signal, which meant that MACD is under 0, so you got to be careful. So, like I was saying, so just with this indicator alone, my crossal confluence indicator, so I could have bought in the white areas. So even though there was no green, so it wasn't necessarily super low, the fact that it was, you know, it was in an uptrend meant that, okay, you can buy in even when the stock price is not very low. And I feel like this is kind of like, you might be tempted to like forget the trade. In this case, like, again, you know, news, I guess, I feel like the news was a very important catalyst to tell you that, okay, it's gonna go up. So I thought that point was kind of important. Obviously, yes, if it goes green, it would have been good, especially while MACD is still positive, still over 0. So these were great buy-in points for sure, and these were great sell-out points. But so were these, and I still think these were legitimate buys as well. Like even though they weren't green, so I thought that was worth mentioning. And then the opposite is true as well. So I guess you could have shorted the stock. Wait, so you could have went long here, shorted over here. Went long here, shorted over here. Short sell over here. Wait, not sure. You don't go from long to short sell. I meant these are harder trades. I feel like the short selling is important. So short selling when the MACD is, so I was talking about opposites. So short selling when MACD is under 0, you could short sell over here and then cover over here. Short sell over here, cover over here. Short sell over here, cover over here. So the opposite's true in this case, while MACD is under 0. So same sort of thing, right? Same sort of thing over here. You can see that the trend reversed at the very top. Obviously, this is going to be the best place to sell, so it's also the best place to short sell. Then you have the golden cross. The golden cross, there was one over here. I like to put this in front, visual order in front, and then you can see, I created this recently. I just made this vertical line to show when the golden cross happens. So this is a nice onset signal of a good uptrend coming. You can generally take a long position at a drop and after a golden cross up, or you could just go straight for the long position, but I wouldn't do that. I would wait. And then, is there anything else I wanted to talk about? I'm making good for time, I'm happy. I talked about band hits. I didn't talk about breakouts, and I think that's worth mentioning. So what ended up happening here, you can see that there was a trend line right over here, and then there's a breakout. And it's just basically a bunch of, like, I guess not triangles, but kind of pennants. You can see there was a breakout buy over here, there was a breakout buy over here, there was a breakout buy over here. And then, you know, because I don't encourage the breakout buy anymore, I mean, I still think it's a great idea, but I would say to hold, maybe to hold is important in the breakout, but I think that based on this confluence indicator, you can see that buying here isn't encouraged. According to the confluence indicator, it's actually not encouraged. It's actually encouraged to buy over here. So maybe you'd want to buy over here and then wait for a breakout. And if it doesn't happen, you sell at a like break even. That's assuming it doesn't happen. And then I guess it's more safe, hence because of this MACD over 0 thing. Yeah, but this was pretty like easy to play, just based on this one thing. I think that was one of the most important indications. Last thing I'm going to talk about is my super trend. You know, the highs, selling on the high was important. It was valuable. Selling on a high over here was valuable, but then it actually fell pretty fast, and that gives you opportunity to create this breakout triangle, and then it went low, and then it went high, and then you want to sell before, ideally you want to sell before a strong sell signal comes in and pulls the stock down. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Happens again. So I'm going to keep looking at the charts, see if I have more patterns coming up, and yeah, take care. Peace out.